The University of California Board of Regents attempted to get California into the Big Ten. All these months, these 6 months since UCLA and USC announced that they were joining the Big Ten in 2024, when they announced it on June 30, the University of California Board of Regents was doing an end run, trying to get California into the Big Ten along with Oregon, Washington, and Stanford. They failed, and we're going to let you know why they failed. We're also going to be giving you our 2 locks of the first weekend of bowl games. Welcome to episode 117 of College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything college football because we love everything college football. And if you love everything college football, please consider subscribing to our ever-growing channel. Share the video with your family and friends, and please smash that like button if you like our content. Let's get to the games first, and then we'll get to the main story of University of California Board of Regents' attempt to get California into the Big Ten and further Big Ten expansion. Here, let's look at these 2 games real quick. Oregon State -10, UConn +10. We consider those the 2 locks of the weekend. Please put down your comments in the comment section below the video. Let me know what you think about our predictions and our story in University of California. I read all the comments. First of all, UConn Huskies +10. They haven't had a winning season since 2010. But yet, here they are, 6-6. If they win this game, they'll have a winning season, an incredible season from Jim Mora Jr. I'm so happy for the UConn Huskies fan base. They have been going through misery for over the last decade, but they did it. This year, it all came together under first-year UConn Husky coach Jim Mora Jr. They did it with a really good running game, excellent running game. Zion Turner, a crafty quarterback, first year, can run a little bit, completed 60% of his passes. Devontae Houston, 6.8 yards per rush. Robert Burns, 5.2. Nate Carter, 6.2. UConn Huskies can run the ball. Unfortunately, Marshall Thundering Herd has a really good rushing defense. Under Charles Huff, I love Charles Huff. For those who follow this channel, we believe Charles Huff will be a program Power 5 head football coach in the next coaching carousel after next year. So Marshall is well coached, got a good defense. They had a big win against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. But then they stumbled. Marshall stumbled in the middle of the season, and they closed out winning the last 4 games. Marshall's offense can struggle a bit. They have a great running back, over 1,400 yards, but they struggle. And here's the thing about making predictions, making plays in these bowl games. You got a lot of things to consider. Who's going in the transfer portal from the 2 teams that are playing? Who is opting out to go to the NFL draft, to get ready for the NFL draft? And the next key, and I think it's important with the UConn Marshall game, who really wants to be there? Who really wants to give it all to win in this game? We believe it's UConn. Marshall had bigger dreams after they beat Notre Dame. Now, I'm not saying Marshall's going to go in there and not give it their all, but UConn is going to give it their absolute maximum. And we think that's going to be enough. If they can run the ball a little, if they don't turn over the ball against that Marshall defense, who've gotten a lot of turnovers this year in the games that they won. If UConn doesn't turn over the ball, we think they will cover +10, take the Huskies. Oregon State -10. This is a lock. Not much. I mean, what can we say about this that you already don't know? Anthony Richardson, the quarterback of the Florida Gators, has opted out. The backup quarterback of the Florida Gators arrested for a heinous crime that he allegedly did. It's an unspeakable crime. We won't speak about it here at Peek Around the Corner. But Florida Gators, who are they down to for the 3rd, 4th, 5th string quarterback? We don't even think it matters. It's going to be someone who hasn't really played a game. Oregon State's got a good running attack. Martinez, Fenwick, Griffin, 3-headed monster. They got a quality receiver, Trayvon Harrison. 52 catches, over 600 yards. Oregon State was the second total defense in the Pac-12, second ranked in that conference. Oregon State 9-3. Head coach Jonathan Smith, who just signed another new contract with the Oregon State Beavers, doing an incredible job at Oregon State. Take the Beavers +9. This is going to be a blowout. Those are the only two games that we could really settle on in this first week of bowl activity. Now, let's get to the main attraction. Let's read a little bit of this article from Josh Peter, USA Today. University of California Regents clears the way for UCLA to join the Big Ten. Now, I know you all know that. We had a live show on December 14th, the night of. UCLA is going to the Big Ten starting in 2024, and they're going to have to pay a tax to the University of California Board, University of California, Berkeley. During this time, it's been reported that the University of California Board of Regents was actually trying to get California into the Big Ten. I'm just going to read a couple of paragraphs. Then I'm going to read something else, and then we're going to circle back to this article. Okay? This is the article. A 11-5 vote by the UC Regents in favor of a move was the final step needed for UCLA's move to the Big Ten, which is expected to result in tens of millions of dollars more a year for the school. The Regents met in a closed session for more than an hour before voting at a conference center. Quote, "I would love there to be harmony amongst everybody," says Rich Lieb, chair of the UC Regents. "To be honest with you, I would love for California to be in the Big Ten, but that's not where it is right now." Lieb said the Regents explored the possibility of the Big Ten taking Cal and adding additional Pac-12 schools, Stanford, Washington, and Oregon. "We certainly put some pressure on to see if we could," he said. "In the end, the expansion was not going to be on the table for us." The expansion wasn't going to be on the table for us. That's the money shot. That's what we're going to go circle back to. We're going to give you our strongly held opinion here at Peek Around the Corner, what all this means, what California Board of Regents attempted to do, and they failed, and why did they fail? I got a question here. From Mona Vision, a friend of the channel, great supporter of the channel, he gave me a great question. "Greg, did you read that as the UC Board of Regents was actively negotiating it as a block package deal? Did University of Washington, Oregon, and Stanford all delegate them to negotiate for them?" That was a question from Mona Vision based on that article that I just read you. Again, I'm going to read the tweet one more time. Then we're going to circle back to the article. "Greg, did you read that as the University of California Board of Regents was actively negotiating as a block package deal? Did University of Washington, Oregon, Stanford all delegate them to negotiate for them?" First of all, let me answer a lot of good questions in that one question. First of all, Oregon, Washington, Stanford did not have the University of California Board of Regents negotiate for them at all. Remember, USC called Big Ten alone. UCLA called the Big Ten alone. They negotiated with the Big Ten alone. Only at the very end of the process did both of them even knew both of them were in play. When Washington had preliminary meetings with the Big Ten, it was alone. When Oregon had preliminary meetings with the Big Ten, it was alone. University of California Board of Regents is not doing any negotiation for Washington, Oregon, Stanford. They don't need them in their negotiations. They don't want them in their negotiations. Let's circle back to this article, the first one we talked about. Lieb said the Regents explored. The Regents explored. Not Stanford, Washington, Stanford, Washington, and Oregon. Lieb said the Regents explored the possibility of the Big Ten taking Cal and adding additional Pac-12 schools, Stanford, Washington, Oregon. We certainly put some pressure. They put pressure on who? The Big Ten? They put pressure on the Big Ten? They were blackmailing the Big Ten? And to see if we could. He said, in the end, the expansion was not going to be on the table for us. Who is us? You see, we don't believe that us is Stanford, Washington, and Oregon, and California as a team. In the end, that expansion was not going to be on the table for us. Is about the University of California. There was no 4-team negotiation going on with the Big Ten during the 6 months of deliberation of the University of California Board of Regents. That just wasn't happening. It was the University Board of Regents trying to get California in the Big Ten. We've been saying here at Peek Around the Corner, if you've been following us through the months, we never had any steam, any intel, nothing to provide any of you that University of California was even in the cards, was even a possibility for Big Ten expansion. We don't believe they were, they are, or they're going to be here at Peek Around the Corner. We've been consistent, even though there's been other reports out there, national reports that California was in amongst the 4 schools targeted. We don't believe that's the case, and that's why they failed. Again, I want to say this one more time. When Lieb, on the Board of Regents, said, we certainly put some pressure on to see if we could. In the end, the expansion was not going to be on the table for us. It's not on the expansion. They're not on the table for California to get into the Big Ten. The other, Oregon, Washington, Stanford, the window is closed right now, but they're going to keep swinging for the next few years, for the next decade to try to get into the Big Ten. But this is about California trying to get into the Big Ten, while they're scoffing at UCLA's, while they're saying, many of them on the board saying UCLA should not be leaving, this is bad for college sports, bad for the student athletes, they should stay in the Pac-12 because of history, and at the same time, they themselves are trying to get into the Big Ten, trying to get California into the Big Ten. But it's not on the table for California. And right now, it's not on the table for anybody. Big Ten has hit the pause button. As we reported on October 12th, it was a no or no-go for launch, and it's a no-go for now. But stick with us here at Peek Around the Corner. A lot of things going on in the Big 12 and the Pac-12. These bowl games, college football playoffs coming up. We're going to be doing predictions for many more of the bowl games. We're going to be doing watch parties for both semifinal games and for other big bowl games. So stick with us. Until next time, from all of us at Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, you all take care of each other. Thank you so very much.